Consumer staples are directly affected by crude oil prices because petroleum derivatives are used in packaging material including bottles and tubes. New Delhi, prices of daily use consumer products such as packaged snacks, detergents and cooking oils may increase by 4 to 7% after petrol and diesel prices rose to a record, companies said, worried that the inflationary trend could adversely affect demand. The increase could reverse, to some extent, the benefits brought about after the GST Council slashed tax on 178 items to 18% in November last year from 28% earlier. That led companies to cut prices by 10 to 20% on detergents, deodorants, shampoos, snacks and edible oils. There could be 4 to 5% increase in prices across the sector in the next 2 quarters if crude prices remain at existing levels, said Saugata Gupta, MD of Marico, the maker of Parachute Hair Oil and Saffola cooking oil. Even though rural demand is expected to be better on account of good monsoon forecasts and companies would like to drive growth by absorbing crude-induced costs, the increase in crude prices over last year is significant. Petrol and diesel prices climbed as crude oil shot up by about 50% in the past year to touch $80 a barrel last week. The price of petrol in Mumbai was 86 rupees and 8 paise a litre on Monday, while diesel was 73 rupees and 64 paise a litre. Crude has fallen to $75, which may lead to lower fuel prices in the days ahead. Consumer staples are directly affected by crude oil prices because petroleum derivatives are used in packaging material including bottles and tubes. The rise in crude oil prices compounds the effect of higher duties on palm oil, which is used in some food products. We expect a 5 to 7% hike in prices over the next month. The increase in crude prices comes on the back of an increase in customs duty on palm and crude oil in March this year, and some of the impact will definitely have to be passed on to consumers, said Krishna Rao, category head of biscuits maker Pearl Products. The government increased import duty on crude and refined palm oil in March to support local farmers and domestic manufacturing. The duty on crude palm oil was increased to 44% from 30% and on refined palm oil to 54% from 40%. Rising oil prices impact us directly and definitely puts pressure on profit margins, Dabra Chief Financial Officer Lalit Malik said. We are being cautious about pricing and closely monitoring the trend. He added that his company could absorb higher transportation costs brought on by rising fuel prices. Spokespersons for Hindustan Unilever and Procter Analysts said the effect on margins would depend on the ability of companies to pass on higher costs to consumers. Crude oil-linked costs account for 15 to 20% of raw material used in packaging. While soap and detergent makers have an indirect correlation with crude derivatives, increase in palm oil costs directly has a bearing on packaged snacks, said Abneesh Roy, VP at Edelweiss Securities. Companies with good pricing power could cut other costs such as advertising and miscellaneous expenses including travel, while others could see compression in margins. The increase in crude prices comes after large companies posted healthy profits in the January to March quarter on the back of double-digit volume growth, aided by the GST rate cut in November, buoyancy in rural demand, benign raw material inflation and focus on operating efficiencies. Commenting feature is disabled in your country, region.